This is Ulmer's ninth chapter in Internet Invention, and it focuses on the idea of the emblem, which is our next assignment. He states that the emblem is made out of raw material from our My Story, so it shouldn't be something that we have to like make up. It should already be like in existence in stuff that we've already done, and it's just locating like patterns within our My Stories and within pop cycles. He says these images should be winnowed, which we talked about earlier with the winnowing basket, from the moods and themes of the pop cycle, and the success of the emblem relies on the use of shared codes. And what I got from this was like the example with the advertisers. Advertisers don't use symbols that people can't readily like understand. Like they talked about the Marvel advertising that uses a cowboy to represent their cigarettes. And obviously, you know, a cowboy is something that we can very easily like get a feel for. Like a cowboy is, you know, freedom and I guess like badassness and like masculinity. And people begin to associate that like signifier with the product that they're buying. And like when we do our emblem, we want people to be able to associate a signifier with like some sort of significant thing. Like you don't want to have an emblem that, although may like be relevant to your My Stories, doesn't really like mean anything. I found something really interesting, the conversation game that he talked about with that like during the Baroque era, that would just be like a game that people would play. Like I guess it would kind of be like Pictionary for us, but with more thinking. And then the allegory equation is noun phrase X is, or the form of to be, which is BR, noun phrase Y of noun phrase Z. And he gives the example of vanity is the quicksand of reason, but also he warns to not just readily accept that equation and assume that it means something, because in another example that Ulmer gave us, the person who wrote it followed that example, but it didn't necessarily seem to mean anything. Like it was a parody. And but yeah, and the power of the emblem. When I think of an emblem that really signifies something, like a readily understood like signifier, I think of like the cross in Christian religion signifies a lot of stuff, and it's something very emblematic of the religion, of the ideas behind the religion. I don't know. That's just the first thing that I think about when I read about the emblem. But yeah. Oh, and I love that, or I don't love it, but I found it interesting that he said that metaphor is dead because it is an idea of an emotion. And I know that we tie metaphor a lot to literature, but he says that it's an idea of an emotion, whereas with electricity, we are planning to actually like portray that emotion so that the reader or the watcher or whatever, however they're interacting with the story that you've put together, they're actually feeling that emotion rather than just like understanding it. But yeah.